Ready to stop guessing and start growing as a trader? Welcome to Vici Trading Solutions, a community built by real traders for serious learners. We don't just post trades, we teach the why behind every move. With a full education section and daily breakdowns, you'll start seeing the market like a pro. You won't be trading alone. Inside the Vici Discord, you're surrounded by committed traders, from futures pros to rising crypto specialists, all learning and winning together. Gain first access to our exclusive indicators, powerful tools used daily by hundreds across TradingView and beyond. These aren't gimmicks, they're built to sharpen your edge. Each morning, our founder posts a full trading plan for the S&P 500 or NASDAQ and calls out the levels he's watching live. No fluff, just clarity. Education, tools, community. Whether you trade futures, stock, or crypto, Vici gives you the foundation and firepower to grow. Join Vici, trade smarter, conquer the markets.
And we're back. All right. Actually, let me close my door. We don't need any kind of distractions there. My apologies. So, guys, today was a crazy day. My God, I was just all over the place today. So before we get started, get into it. Boom. There you go. Follow me. It's on Twitter. It's on YouTube. It's on Substack. It's all the same. Ryan Bailey Edge. Check me out. You can sign up for 30 free days of the trade plans. They are on there. If you check out the link in this post, you will see it. You can sign up, put your email in there. Boom, done. And by the way, I offered 30 days free to the Discord. We have 2 openings left. Yesterday I had 4. Today, 2 people came in and took advantage. I've got 2 left, guys, 2. Okay, so if you sign up for the Substack and you want to go ahead and transfer to paid, you get to come into the Discord room for free for 30 days. Come check it out. We have a lot of fun there. It's great. So having a great time with the people that are in there. We got some real serious traders, and look forward to you guys checking it out. So anyways, follow me across all these socials. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. Do other people a favor. And let's make that happen. All right. So let's see what we got. Let's move this. So today was insane. I mean, if you guys traded at all NQ or ES, it was a rough day. We stayed within balance essentially of yesterday, almost the entire day. And we did pop out of range for a second, only to retrace and come all the way back in. It was a very difficult day. The moves were all over the place. Really, we had 12 to 14 point moves in ES, 20-point moves pretty much constantly, and never really got much of anywhere, which made life extremely difficult. So we're going to go over this, and I wanted to talk about a few things because, yesterday I put out something on Twitter, and just as a heads up for you guys, I want to make this very clear. I can't tell you how to trade. I can't tell you what trades to take, but I can tell you what I'm doing. And a lot of times I will post stuff, my thoughts, trades I'm looking at. Oh, this looks good. Oh, that, right? I'm probably taking that trade, just to let you know. I don't really put stuff out there that is misinformation, or, I don't shit post. Maybe I should. They get a lot of interaction. But, for me, if I'm putting a trade out there where I say something, it's probably a gut feeling, okay, or something that I'm interested in getting into. And we're just going to kick it off like this. So go ahead and throw this in here. So this was the trade. So yesterday I put a tweet out talking about after the sweep and reclaim of the so important 6605 and ES, you have to wonder, is that the low? Well, guess what? So far it is. And I was starting to feel like yesterday was the low. And we talked about how important that area was in both NQ and ES, and how important this could be for a clutch hold right here. Well, we had pretty strong NVIDIA earnings after the bell. They popped the market. So we'll see what's going to happen with the open tomorrow, but we're going to go through that here shortly. So as you can see, this was part of my trade plan this morning. And I actually put a little video out for people this morning, which I normally don't do. But this was a little addition, little 4 minutes where I kind of dialed things in and told people the areas that I was looking at that were really important for me to essentially, go higher. And this was a great little spiel because, my process was still telling us that we were pointed down. Okay. So we hadn't gained on any time frame. We had a soft close yesterday. There was a lot of reasons to continue to look down still, which, money was made both ways today. There was no question about it. But, I was starting to feel the itch. I'm like, this looks like accumulation, right? And I didn't save this. And actually, we should probably talk about this later. But since I'm talking about it right now, this was yesterday, and then this was today. So you can see we had overlapping value areas, and of course, a pop to the high as well. And so this, to me, once I saw that sweep and they held that magnificent spot at 6605, and then we couldn't make a new low last night, and they kind of stay within range, led me to believe that this could be a reversal area. And lo and behold, it looks like we might have just that. Okay, so let's get into the day, because the day was rough. The day was a little brutal. So let's see what we got here. Where do we want to start? So we'll just start with this. So as usual, our analysis begins with VIX. VIX is still above our significant monthly. This is where we were at during the open. Okay, maybe, hang on. No, I'm sorry. This is where we were at during the open. And so I'm like, all right, so we're still holding, we're above this monthly. As long as we stay above that, the VIX rules and the indices is coming down, right? So we knew that 22, 28, above this, there was extreme pressure. Well, right off the jump this morning, which was funny because I had just put it out in the newsletter, both in as far as the trade plan and a video, I said, hey, listen, be careful. I'm sniffing the bottom here. Immediately we popped, and we popped hard. And we're going to get into that too. But when they did, they immediately dumped the VIX. But where did they dump the VIX to? Right into our 22, 28 significant monthly, which of course held. I mean, it's just a monster. And then that was the high of the day. And then VIX peeled back up, and the ES, as you know, peeled off something fierce. And so that was essentially the pullback for the day. Now, we've popped on NVIDIA earnings since then, but just to show you our key levels and how important it is when using VIX in combination with what we're looking at. So interesting, actually, that we talking about this. So when ES popped above the 66.92 area, I didn't have any resistance. I actually thought that we were going to move all the way up into 14. That was my first area of resistance. But what's funny is yesterday during the stream, we actually talked about these levels on SPX when I said, hey, let's talk about what could potentially happen here, etc. And so we did. And so when I did, I pulled up SPX and I showed you guys, I kind of actually drew it out for everybody. I said, man, there's this massive cluster up here of daily levels that I just don't know if it's going to make it through on first touch. This would be a great area to short. Well, this is actually when the VIX at the same time went into our monthly level. And so this is where we opened for the day. Okay. We popped right up at the open and went right into our dailies at 66.88, right? And right back down. And where they made a new low, which was textbook ideal. However, as you can see, when they made the new low, they played the other daily at 66.02, which was technically still untested. Here's my 4 hour. It was definitely untested. And they popped and they held. And then we fiddle fucked around here most of the afternoon until the end of the day, which, they ended up ramping up. But I wanted to show you guys, because we had talked about, these areas yesterday in the stream. And I wanted to show you how perfectly they played, because, we did this in foresight, right? So we were basically like, okay, here's the areas. This should get a smack. And lo and behold, they got a perfect touch. So no complaints there whatsoever. All right. And when we're talking about the long this morning, or from the morning, I'll go ahead and just show you this. That is not it. So I'm gonna just full disclosure. I didn't have a great day. I've been having amazing days every day. They got me for $600 today. So not bad. I killed it yesterday, but not every day is a great day, right? So they got me today. Today was rough. I was not very happy about it. And I don't really like red days, but they come with the territory. But I just want a full disclosure. I lost $600 today. So I know it's like, oh, okay, big deal. But hey, listen, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, every day is fucking amazing, even though it has been lately. Today, I did not make it happen. So I had some good trades, but it was definitely a battle today. So back to the plan here. So this is the long for the morning. This just shows you that I'm going to kind of get into it. So very first thing I called right here in the trade plan, weak support, 66.39, 1 hour, yesterday's point of control, right? I said it has not gained. I would not look to buy here, likely to fall through. Well, guess what? It actually held perfect. And what they did was, and just so you guys understand, what they did was they basically tested this daily, which was untested, which I guess you could say I missed it, but I didn't expect it to get that. We didn't gain anything. I just didn't expect it to get that kind of reaction. And this thing launched. I mean, I was laughing because I'm like, oh, I guess it is going to work. It's going to work amazing. And it did, because, right here, we were essentially, a lot of people in the room were short from the 66.60, and they brought it down. They were up, 20, 30 points. And I just assumed that we would come a little bit lower. And we didn't. We held and we fucking gassed it. And so what was crazy is this was our important level, which was the 66.92. They failed to close above it. They peeked their head up. I thought we were going to get into the 14, which is our big call wall. And we had singles and they just missed it. And they came down. Now, full disclosure, I put in the room, hey, listen, guys, we come down, 83 is a buy. I tried to buy it. I did. And I took a 3-point loss on it. And the moment I knew it wasn't going to go, I immediately reversed and I shorted it down to new lows, which was awesome. No big deal. But, hey, listen, I was just kind of all over the place today. I'm just being full disclosure. We don't always have amazing days. But the trade plan was spot on. I mean, from the moment that this high came in, that's where we touched the monthly level on VIX, and it was bouncing. That is the same spot that we touched the dailies on SPX that I just showed you. And what was strange is we didn't have any resistance on ES up here. I didn't have any. I had some at 14 because we had some singles that didn't get filled. I expected them to come up here and get a reaction, and we didn't quite get there. And so I was looking for just a little higher, and it didn't quite happen. And if it wasn't for SPX, me seeing the daily in SPX, and obviously watching VIX, I would have had it all ass backwards. So that was at least good that happened. Then the second trade of the day, which was pretty awesome. So here was the pivot support. So we've talked about how we've had these 3 main levels or 4 levels that we are constantly watching. We've been watching this 83 to 86 spot and ultimately 92, but let's just call it 83 because this is played so many times. It's been ridiculous. Then we had the 66.60, 66.33. Again, these are all dailies, by the way. And then the daily weekly at 66.05. So we've got our major pivots that we're watching. So this is an RTH chart. As you guys know, all my high time frame charts are done and the RTH side of things. I'm a big cash session guy. That's what I trade. And so this is actually a 30-minute RTH chart. So let me go ahead and just try to get my pen. Of course, it's not working. So let me reset this. So you'll see yesterday, this was yesterday's end of the session right here. This is where we closed. Okay. And then obviously, as you can see right here, and then you can see right here, this is where they back tested the daily right here at the open and shot up. They failed to close above the 92. We poked our head up and we came down. But what did we do? Right? We made a new low right here. Boom. And as soon as they swept that low, you can see my guy triggered right here for a long. We popped. We gained the 34. We come up. And that was a 30-point long. Okay? So awesome, awesome long. And it made up for a lot of nonsense that we had to deal with on the way, just for me anyway. It made a lot of bullshit for me. So this was a great long. We used our level. We used our pivot level here. That even though it was tested, we knew it was significant to be above or below. I mean, these are the same levels I've been talking about since last week, guys. So, these are not new levels, right? I'm just looking at the chart right now. We've been talking about these levels literally since since Tuesday. Let's see. We talked about these levels on Tuesday. Yeah. And then we talked about them over here a little less than a month ago. So, but again, we've talked about 660 multiple times. Now we're into 633s. We talked about 605s. Then we come back and this becomes important. Now this becomes important. Now these become important. Okay. So these are just the same levels that we continue to work over and over again. We understand if we can't get below it, then of course we'll go ahead and push up. All right. So this was a great sweep of this level, a great sweep of the RTH low from yesterday's close, and squeeze us up 30 points. Now, this was a trade that I called out in the room that took forever. And I'm sorry I was late today. I was actually making content, got started a little late. And so it looks like they're setting up a 4-hour short at 56 on the candle. You can't see it because the screenshot was bad, but on the 4-hour candle, right? And so what really made me start sniffing for a short was this ugly ass close on this 4-hour. So when they came all the way up here and couldn't gain, and they came all the way down and closed red, I'm like, all right, we get a nice little pop. I'm going to try to short this joint, right? And so as you can see, let's see here. Make sure you there we go. Let me get me out of the way. As you can see, we basically were all into this level here. We shorted the 56, and I actually had stopped out a few times. If I would have just had a good stop, I would have been all right. But they kept going down and playing the open. Look at this chart. They play the open, they pop up. They come down, they play the open, they pop up. It was fucking killing me. I was dying over here today. It was terrible. But regardless of the fact, once we came back up, I put my stops up here. We made it work. And we got short actually back below the 60s, underneath the 4-hour at 56. And we let this thing ride, and we came all the way down. Now, here's what the really cool, interesting part, and one of the big bonuses of being in the Discord room. I'm always looking. I sit in front of 8 screens, and so I've got a bunch of stuff up that I'm used to looking at every day. And one of them is the TPO profile, right? So, I post this. This is where we currently were at the price. And I said, listen, we're all in the extremes. I'm still short, as you can see down here, right? We're under the open. We're under the 34 pivot, which is the same pivot I just showed you that we took for the long on the sweep, right? We're into yesterday's value area low and today's value area low. We should come lower, but it may pop here first. We'll see, right? So I'm staggering my stops so I don't give back 20 points. And then you can see here, I actually had my stops, move down a little bit, and ultimately ended up closing them all right here before it was over, because this was the pivot we were under. And I'm just like, man, this thing is really stretched out. And that was literally the low of the afternoon. It was a great exit, took some good profits here, and made it work. But, I was expecting or hoping for lower. But the idea is I wasn't sure, because I had been sniffing a bottom this whole time. We've been talking about it in the room. I talked about it yesterday a little bit. I know it's like super bear case yesterday, but ultimately, I've even been tweeting and talking about like this could be the low. Like this, guys, this really could be it. If they end up, accumulating here, we're going to go. Now we've had good NVIDIA earnings. We'll see where we open tomorrow, and we'll still talk about some areas today that we're going to play. But, that is definitely a possibility. Now, check this out. So this is something that we talked about in the room. And again, I'm sorry that these screenshots aren't great. I was literally making the content, and I looked down at the time, and it was 5:15 already. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm late. So, I was telling people, this guy, I said, man, I'm pretty sure that we're making a bottom. He's like, I fucking hope so, right? So funny, because it's true. Like, we're all like, man, this has got to be it, right? So I'm like, they're making a 4-hour leg up right now. It won't be ready till after the close, but I can see them trying to accumulate here. We simmer here all night. This could blast tomorrow. We'll see. So I was calling the 4-hour section out here at 46.52. All right. So here's where they are, 66.50, 275, and then all the way down into 48, right? And you can see where I was pulling these levels from, and also across the 1 hour, we had 4 opens and closes. I'm like, okay, this is pretty solid support here, right? So here you go. I come back up after NVIDIA earnings to see what was cooking, and look what they back tested. They back tested our 4-hour level at 66.52, and they blasted up. Okay, now it sucks because that level is no longer valid for me to play, but we do have some other things that we're looking at for potential long, which, the same levels, guys, the same levels, which we'll talk about real soon. Okay, so we'll see where we open tomorrow, but this was a nice, strong close on the 1 hour. It was a nice, strong close on the 4 hour, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. And I think that's it. I think I went through the content here for the day. So I want to talk about a few things. Today we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about what's to come in the ES, since we talked about the trade plan. It was a rough day. It worked out fine. Whatever. And, some days it's perfect. Some days, it's not. And it is what it is. It's usually more perfect than not. But some days are like that, right? So tomorrow we'll see what's up. And, we live to fight another day. That's why we keep our risk in check. But now we're going to talk about what's going to happen and what I think could potentially happen. And we're also going to look at some Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're getting to the spot down here where I've got resting orders. I'm looking to start buying. So I think it's important that we talk about that stuff, and we'll get into it. So let's just pull this up for ES real fast. Okay. And I'm actually going to change my window here. Let's remove this. Let me move this up to my other screen. Yeah. Okay. All right. So here's my daily chart. Okay. So here's what's cooking up here. Now, again, we talked about why this is so big, right? There's like nothing below this area here for quite some time, 66.05, right? And we looked at it on the weekly. We've done this before. We've pulled this out. We've been through this a million times. So there's no reason to keep doing it. But this is one of the reasons why I thought this area, it needs to hold. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If it doesn't hold here, this thing just gets myrtleated, right? And so this was a phenomenal close today. So we came down, we played the 33 initially at the open, and that's what popped us up, okay? And then we came all the way up here, and then we pulled back, and they've kind of made a new low. But the real important close for me, guys, the big thing for me right now is that we've closed above 66.60. And the reason this is so important for me is because now, based on my methodology right now, I can now play the backside of 66.60, right? So this is now a reset daily for me. I am looking to get long this level, and my risk is super defined now, because when we break out the 4-hour or the 1 hour level, the stop is, very small. So this either works out perfect and it goes, or it doesn't. And so I really like this concept here of this. I mean, we're all the way up here at 96 now. We're above our 92. Again, like I said, it'll be really interesting to see where we open. But as you can see right now, just looking at the 1 hour chart, and you could see why I was talking about 92 yesterday and ultimately the 83 spot. But, we've played this 83, 86 multiple times, fell, boom, 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 right? And then today we get up here and they couldn't close above 92 and they fall down and make a new low. Now we've come up and we've closed a solid close, both on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, excuse me, and the daily. Okay. So let's pull over the 4 hour, because it's really what matters. 1 hour's small time frame shit. So here we go. So now this 4 hour has closed above this leg to this high and the leg to this high, right? So we haven't gained technically on the 4 hour, but it's good enough. I mean, for me, we're starting to close above major support areas. Okay. The daily is what was really important for me. Again, the daily has not gained, but we are now back above the leg that took us to the all-time high. Okay. This leg took us to the all-time high. There's no question about it. Right. And so, this was a previous all-time high. It doesn't matter which one. All that matters is we know 66.60 is the shit. Okay. So with that being said, what I'm looking at right now, because they basically tested our 4 hour. Remember, we talked about this 4 hour here at 57. They tested that. I showed you the picture of it. Okay, so what we're looking now is we want to play the backside of 66.60 if they pull back into this to get long. If they pull back into 66.60, which they may or may not give us the opportunity. It depends on what NVIDIA does in the overnight. Then we could move up to the 66.23 or even higher. This whole scenario, guys, shifts over 38. The bulls regain control back over 38. It's just that simple. This is the leg to the high. If they close the daily above this, this thing is going to go all the way back up. This is just the biggest spot ever. We've talked about how they've tried to not lose it 2 weeks in a row. Ultimately, they lost it on Friday. And then here we are again, getting ready to try to get back up in there. So depending on what happens with 23, that could get us up into 38. And so we'll see what's up. But for right now, based on what I can see today, I'm looking to buy this 66.60 area. And depending on where we open, I might even be willing to buy 83 again, right? Because we know 83 is solid. It didn't work today because we just didn't have a solid close, but this could essentially bring us back up. And we have some singles in the profile that I showed you guys earlier that could take us to 14 that really need to get cleaned up. They barely missed it, which I was shocked. So there's some inefficiency there that needs to get touched up. So that's my thought process on ES. We'll see where we open tomorrow. Obviously, everything can change really fast and go from there. And for those of you guys who didn't get a chance, you should check out the video that I put out this morning in the newsletter and just see. I was going to play it for you guys on here, but it's 4 minutes long and I didn't want to take up all our time. So if you get an opportunity, check out today's trade plan. You'll see exactly how I warn people like, hey, listen, I'm feeling like there's a bottom. Yesterday, I was extremely bearish in the stream, but I didn't give the bull case. I think that we could be, accumulating down here like I've shown on the TPO earlier. And, if this thing continues to hold, we're going to rally. So that is that. So now let's talk about this Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Yeah. All right, Bitcoin. Give it to me. All right, so Bitcoin. It's funny. Anybody who's been watching this stream, I've been talking about this mid-80s the entire freaking time. Well, guess what, people? We're here, right? People didn't think it could happen. Guess what? We're here. And how do we know that? Because it's the leg and they couldn't hold. This is where we come, right? I don't know how many times I talked about, I even have a short on YouTube talking about, we come in at 82, mortgage your house, right? So this is the spot. This is a great spot. Now, ultimately, if they sweep at 82, getting to 71 and reclaim, that'd be crazy. But, a girl can dream. So this is the spot to start buying. I actually have orders resting at 86,250, 82,750, and 79,000, just in case we come all up in here on some spot. Okay. So I like this a lot. And I just noticed this. Look at this back test on this monthly. They back tested. This is a weekly time frame. They back tested my monthly at 96.3. So we could go monthly to monthly. We could come all the way down to 82,000, which would be crazy. We'll see. Well, it wouldn't be crazy. It'd be destiny. It was written. So we'll see what happens. But this is where I'm going to start buying all up in this shit. Because I think this is, right now, this is a fire sale. It's been a long time since we've been down here. Let's see how far off we are. It's a 30% pullback. If we come down in here, we're about, 35%. Either way, it's 35%. Is it cheap enough? It's never cheap enough until you buy it, and then you want more, right? So I actually closed all my Bitcoin positions up in here, 115,000, and I've been waiting on this pullback. So I played it right this time, and now I'm looking to get a nice little haircut on this. So we'll see what's up. Now, let's go ahead and talk about, for those people who are buying on iBit. So iBit's got some nice places here too. So iBit got really close to this weekly here, the 49.64. It's a good spot. Let me go ahead and just pull up the weekly. I like this spot a lot. I might actually buy some of this on my in my stock account. And then obviously the monthly here, which appears to be tested, but crypto's funny like that, is at 47.53. And then ultimately the weekly at 43.78. You can see how all these kind of line up when you come over here and see we've got the top, middle, lower, right? We got the top, middle, lower. It all lines up. So same old. If you guys are interested in buying some of this stuff, just reference this video, get your levels, and kind of go from there. But let's talk about Ethereum because, I'm looking at buying some ETH too. And the reason I want to buy ETH is because this shit is on sale. So this shit is on sale for real. So this was where I bought last time. And I bought, I don't know, 5 or 7 ETH last time at $2,500, and we took it up, and I got out of some of them up in here, and one of them I got out in here. Okay. So right now we're coming down and we have this massive area down here between $2,600 and $27, and let's just call it $2,500. This is a sweet ass spot. Now, is it going to hold? I don't know. I mean, how the fuck would I know? What I do know is my process tells me I better be buying this because it's going to be good. Okay. So with that being said, I like this whole area in here from, let's just call it 2,200 to 2,600. And this looks like a phenomenal spot to start, buying some position. This is without a doubt on sale. So let's just go from the highs and take a look. Oop. Fuck you. There we go. It's down 42%. If it comes into our level, it's down 47%. The monthly, it's down 49, almost 50%. Down here, down 54%. So hard to go wrong with something like that. Again, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. It could go to zero. Yeah, right. But, it could come lower. It certainly could. I hear all kinds of mumblings about Bitcoin to 20,000 and all this. I don't believe any of that shit because I know how to read a chart. But like I showed you, that 71 is massive if they really wanted to blow through this 80 spot. So let's go ahead and take a look at ETH on ETHA. I've been actually shared this with my son and my cousin and a few other people. So if you're looking to buy ETH on the market, on like a traditional finance market, Robinhood or your Schwab account, whatever, we're looking right about $20. This is the same spot. And so, you could buy 100, 150 shares right here and that would be the same thing as one Ethereum. So this is the juice. This is where it's at. So that I just wanted to show you guys in comparison. As you can see right here, here's the 1, 2, 3 spots, 2,600, 2,500, 2,200. Again, same spots here. I could actually probably dial this in a little bit if I wanted, but I'll leave it, 17, 1960, 19. So somewhere in here, we should get some traction and at least get a rebound. I would think that this would be starting to get pretty close to the lows here. So that's what I got for you guys today. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'm not impervious. I had a red day. Wasn't a crazy red day nonetheless. Plan was decent. Just got to trade it right. So so every day is like, a new adventure, and that's what's fun about this business. So in the meantime, if you're not subscribed or following me, please do so. If you haven't subscribed for the Substack trade plans, check out the links below. Fill it out, put your email in, I'll put you in for 30 days. You'll have the plan first thing in the morning. And I have 2 more spots left for the Discord room. We are doing, I'm giving away 30 days for free for the first 5 people who signed up. I've already got 3 takers. I've got 2 left. So the next 2 people that come in will get the Discord room free for a month. But you do have to be a paid Substack subscriber. So best of luck to all those. Got 2 spots left. Looking forward to see who makes it over to the Discord room with us. And I will see you guys bright and early for the trade plan. And obviously same time, same channel for the post-market breakdown. Be good and have a great evening. Cheers.